If a person proposes to you and you don't give a yes, don't be surprised if they break up with you in that moment. That's what happened to one of my friends, right? Like, can you imagine living in an apartment with this man? You've known him for years. You guys are dating. You're proud to call him your boyfriend. And the moment he gives you a ring, you're just like, no, I can't. I don't want to settle. So then his response is, cool, then you need to get out of my apartment. Yeah, my friend was gagged. She was like, what? Well, no, we can still be boyfriend, girlfriend. He goes, no, I want marriage. If you can't give that to me, I'm trying to build a lineage. And she's like, no, I can't. Cool. That's what I thought. Like, hey, if you don't want to do it, then the door's right there, honey. There's plenty of guys that don't want kids, right? But the saddest part is how, like, she started begging and pleading with him. Saying, please take me back. She wouldn't shut up about him either. Like, every conversation was about him for years. And I was like, girl, he's not going to accept you back. He's already married to somebody else. Like, he's done. Like, ugh.
That was the best thing he could have done for himself, especially considering it seemed like she was trying to take advantage of the situation. It seems like he might be the kind of guy she's not truly attracted to, but because of the lifestyle he provides, she stuck around to enjoy the benefits. Fortunately, he wasn't willing to let himself be in that position, and I think that was a smart move. Maybe throughout their relationship, he started picking up on signs that she was more interested in what he could offer, and that might be why he chose to use this strategy to get to the bottom of it, and in the end, it worked. He finally saw her true motivation for staying in that relationship. I've seen some women in the comments saying that he's being immature for ending everything and that he should have given her more time to think. But that argument is pointless. She already had time, plenty of it, to get to know him and figure out what she wanted. By this point, she should have known whether or not she wanted to be his wife. He made the right call because what other options did he have? Now she either needs to find another guy willing to fund her lifestyle or find someone she actually loves and wants to marry. He wasn't the one. Why should he continue providing for someone who doesn't even want to build a life with him? She said no, so what else is he supposed to do? He didn't want to be the simp who would be funding her lifestyle until she finds the man she wants.
I think it's crazy when men say that you're intimidating. Like, babe, if I'm intimidating, what does that say about you? Like, what you got going on for yourself here? Come on.
That's definitely a cap. I don't think she's being honest. I can't believe that any guy would seriously say she's intimidating. It sounds more like she changed the word. Maybe he actually said he doesn't want to put up with it and she either misheard or decided to twist it, which would explain the confusion. Most of us have heard it before. It's usually used to justify why they're still single, claiming that guys are just intimidated because they are too much for them. But she took it to another level. The way she framed it just doesn't add up. And deep down, we all know it didn't go down the way she claimed.
So this man literally asked me what my body count was in the middle of the dinner table. I kid you not, I'm not making this up. So I was like, I'm just going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say, come again? And he honed down on the question and was like, yeah, what's your body count? And I'm like, sir, surely not. And I just sat there in silence, angry, bewildered by the fact that he was even asking that question. I've never been asked that question before, let alone on a second date. No wonder you're 37 and still single, okay? And I said, that is an extremely inappropriate question for you to even be asking. And I was pissed. I just sat there in silence at the table and just let that really sink in for him. He knew it was over. Did he try and extend the date after the 2-hour dinner that was absolutely mediocre? I mean, it's not his fault, but the dinner was mediocre, like food-wise. Yeah, he did. And I was like, okay. So I found a place right by my apartment that I could just like escape right after. Like he's like, let's have another drink. He knew that I wasn't drinking. He proceeded to drink scotch or whatever. And then I just ordered a brownie. It was a really good brownie. But, yeah, that guy won't be hearing from me again.
This is definitely a complex subject, and honestly, I don't think it's a question that should be asked. At least not on the first date. And this is why. First, you're probably not going to get a truthful answer anyway. And second, bringing it up can instantly make the date awkward, and no one wants to sit across the table from someone when the vibe has completely vanished. That's far from the ideal scenario. In my opinion, it's better to just let time do its thing. If it's something you really want to know, the truth tends to come out naturally as you get to know the person. Most guys with a bit of experience can usually pick up on that kind of thing anyway, and it doesn't take long. So there's really no need to dive that deep on a first date. It's unnecessary, and if he keeps doing it, he's probably going to struggle to get a second date. And let's be real, that's not the outcome he's hoping for.
You're not a loser because you make $50,000 a year before taxes. You're a loser because despite all of the effort women have put in the last 5 years on this app trying to explain to you what they want in a partner, you still go on the internet finding other losers that you would rather listen to about what women want. We have created maps, diagrams, graphs to help the horse get to the fucking water. But because you would rather value what other men say what women want over what we say we want, you're lonely and a loser.
It was interesting that she made that point. But if you really think about it, it didn't make much sense. In her opinion, despite women clearly expressing what they want, we have continued to ignore it, and that's supposedly why dating got challenging. But what she failed to acknowledge is that a lot of those requirements are often completely unrealistic. Take the classic example of the 6-foot guy who makes 6 figures. That's become the bare minimum for a lot of women, and based on what we've seen and heard, anything below that level tends to get dismissed almost immediately. But how realistic is it? We know only a small percentage of men actually meet those criteria, and that's without even factoring in the other expectations that usually come along with it. It's not like men can just grow taller to meet those requirements. That's the part she seemed to overlook. Now let's flip it. Think about what we typically say we want. It's usually pretty simple. Someone who's family-oriented, pleasant to be around, and feminine. That's it. They're qualities that any woman could have if she genuinely wanted to.
50-50 man for you, disqualify.
Absolutely.
Disqualify? What if he... Okay.
Like, I haven't met him. I wouldn't even have met that man. A man that wants to be like half and half had never met me.
Black men are the only people on the internet going back and forth about 50-50. It's only black men, and I wish that we can be released from this ghetto, okay? It's only black men having this conversation. This is why I don't talk about 50-50 at all, because when I said I never met the man, those men are not in the room with me. I've never in my life met a man who wanted to go 50-50 with me, period. That's not no lie. That ain't for internet. That ain't cap. That ain't for clout, okay? I never met him. We wasn't in the same room, baby. We never crossed paths, all right? But since y'all want to talk about 50-50, let's talk about it. So the poll basically said, was going 50-50 a roommate situation, or was it considered like building with your partner? And that is the problem. There is such a disconnect between black men and black women, and femininity and masculinity, particularly with our group of men, okay? They have embarrassed us in front of company so much on this internet because only black men are arguing about this, okay? When you don't understand the true essence, okay, of a woman and what we were placed on this earth to do, then you argue about money, okay? Because you don't actually understand, and that's the problem. You need to bring back these unks and OGs. You never really had a true masculine man in your life. And while y'all talking about some black women got daddy issues, nah, you nigga. Y'all the one with the damn daddy issues because you don't actually understand that I can contribute and build with you without paying $1. Okay? And that's the problem. And I'm gonna wrap this up, but black men have been angry and bitter at black women for so long, all right? And I have a whole historical trope about this. I have studied the African diaspora and black people with every penny of my college dollars, okay? One day I'm gonna tell the story, baby, about why black men are so bitter and mad at black women that they don't even like us, okay? This is a whole thing about why when you don't understand and when you are repelled by femininity because your mama, okay, let's get into it, when you don't understand femininity, okay, you'll argue about money. And that's all the I'm going to say about that. When you don't understand femininity, you'll argue about money. Go make a little more.
I really hope you guys are wise enough not to believe in what she's saying, because chances are, that's not even her real experience. She claimed she's never met a guy who wanted to split expenses, but the only reason that ever happened is because the men she dealt with let her pay everything herself. That's probably the actual story, and now she's trying to spin it into this narrative where men with average incomes are somehow unqualified. This is exactly the problem with so many people in our generation. They say things they know don't make sense, just because it fits a certain narrative or sounds good online. Especially now, in an economy where most households need 2 incomes just to stay afloat, and even then, many are still struggling. It's unrealistic to act like a man should be solely responsible for everything financially, when only a small percentage of guys can actually afford that lifestyle. Yet she's talking like it should be the norm. Since we're on the topic of men's incomes, I can't help but wonder, how much does her husband make? Let me guess, she hasn't found him yet. And this is exactly why I keep telling guys to stop taking everything you see online at face value. So much of that content is just noise, people talking for the sake of it, not because they actually believe or live by what they're saying.
Don't do that shit off fast. Show me who you fucking to. Fuck out of here. Word, I'm trying to spin that camera fast.
He actually has a valid point. He probably covered the entire cost of it. Yet she wants to show it off online like it was all her doing. And she's even willing to leave him out of the footage. That's just not fair. Why shouldn't he be part of the video when he's the one who dug into his pocket to make the whole trip possible?